About 10 days ago, I posted a short clip in which I was very excited about a discovery that I had made. And maybe I was a little overexcited, and some people might think that my discovery is not so big. But it has to do with the way I work. I usually don't like to plan so much what I do. I have a global plan and I drive from there. But there are times where I forget a few things. So like this in the Malpais, I was forgetting about that picture and that place that I wanted to look up until I went to visit my friend Debbie Rebecci Hoover in Elko to her store. And this is where I saw again my illustration, and I found out I was forgetting about it. There was this indication at the bottom of the page in the Malpais, which in Old French could mean bad country. And I was very curious because Will James never ever puts an indication about where the location is or who are the people in his illustration. So I suspected that this illustration was never published. So I called my friend Joe Hayes at the Will James Art Company and I asked him about it. And he confirmed what I suspected. This was in Will James' private collection, which means he never showed this to anybody except his close friends. And it's now at the Yellowstone Museum in Billings, Montana. That put me on the track. I really wanted to find out where was this in the Malpais. And then later on, I found out that actually Amaral had talked about this valley that Will James liked particularly. So that became very thrilling for me. I wanted to find out where it was. BOA, 6 miles. I'm in Crescent Valley, on the road to Crescent Valley. Highway was right there. I suspect that Will James on the illustration was catching horses somewhere in those badlands there. I will go to see what it looks like. BOA power plant 8 miles. My feeling is that what they call the Malpais or Malpais or whatever could be that way behind those mountains there. Here's this gorgeous valley. Unfortunately, it's raining, it's foggy. We can't see, but it's really gorgeous. Of course, as I said, I do a lot of improvisation, so there are times where I waste a lot of time, where I go in the wrong places, where I search for no reason, and I could make phone calls ahead of time, but that would be less surprising, less fun to me anyway, to my way of thinking and working. Maybe it's not the right way, but it's a very exciting way for me to do things. So obviously I'm not in the right spot, even though it's nice. I'm heading back towards the village of Biowawe. Unfortunately, the village is too small. The town, I expected to have a cafe or something where I could go and ask people about this Malpais place, but nobody is there and I couldn't find anybody in the street. One interesting point is that there is a railroad coming right through. Railroads were always very important for Will James. There must have been a depot somewhere here before. Now it's really completely deserted, so it's difficult to, can't really stop and knock at the door of somebody's house. Maybe I'll give it a shot at the ranch that I saw before. So I wasn't getting anywhere. This is when I decided to knock at the door of the Horseshoe Ranch, hoping that I would find some help. This looks like a huge place. So many buildings, so many things. I don't know if people are going to be friendly or not. There's a door of the pickup open. I'll try to see if there is somebody there. It's always tricky to go into a private property like this because they are so isolated that people are quite on their guards with strange people coming in. When this large man came out of the house, I wasn't so sure, but it turned out that Dan Grelion is a fantastic guy. He was a fan of Will James, and it's always good when you find somebody. He knew a lot about Will James, and he offered to take me into his office to see what he could find, but he didn't know, and he had never heard about this place that I was talking about. Where is it?
Right there.
Okay. Oh, it's written.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you see this draw right here?
Uh-huh.
Okay. There's a horse trap. Right. See how steep this? Can you read? You know how to read a topo map?
Yes.
Okay. See how steep that?
Oh, yes.
Steep that country is?
Uh-huh.
Sitting right here See, right in here at the end of this canyon,
Yeah, that's
there's
it.
a horse trap there. And when they gathered wild horses, basically they would run them, and there used to be an old, you can't really see the remnants of it anymore. There used to be an old brush wing right here, and they'd run these horses up this canyon right here. And at the head of this canyon, I've never been all the way up it myself, but they tell me that that if you hike up there, you can actually see the remnants of the old horse trap. And there's your Malpais right there, and there's your horse trap right there. So,
Wow.
anyway, I would say you're probably right.
I'm so thrilled. This is beyond everything I expected. Malpais, we found it. We found it, and even at the ranch. Anyway, it's just historically very important. I'm so glad.